Hello crafters and welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I would like to make a card with you showcasing two die sets from the Made to Surprise range. I'm going to be using the 3D folding mechanism as well as the circle accordion showstopper die set. I had to look to make sure I got that right. These two die sets work beautifully together, and I'm going to make a showstopper card, so it's going to be a big card. I'm going to change the camera angle now down to the table, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be making today. So these are the two die sets that I'm going to be focusing on. I love this 3D folding mechanism. I think it just gives a great bang for your buck. It really looks well. I've done these as birthday cards, Christmas cards, and I'll have a playlist in the description linked below, so make sure you check that out. I'm also going to use the circle accordion die set, and this, I have to say, it's one of my favorites. I didn't think it would be, but it's one I go back to, and I just love the shape of it, especially for Christmas cards. So I have all the pieces that I'm going to use, and I'm going to start bringing them in now and showing them to you. So I'll put the two of these over here. Do excuse my lighting. I've a lot of lights on because it is so dark and dingy at the moment here on the west coast of Ireland. So this is the folding mechanism. Now, as you can see, there are lots of slots for us to add all these pieces in, and you get a number of different sizes. I'm just going with 3 because I'm going to have some snowbanks, and I think that will be really fun. So I've one made up, it's all glued together, but I'm going to make the second one because we're going to have 2 of these as our base for our showstopper. So I have die cut out the main die cut from the circle accordion from this set here, and I have die cut it out twice and stuck it together using a collal glue. So that would be a solvent glue. When it dries really hard. So this is like a chipboard piece now. You'll have to excuse, we have sunshine and heavy rain here, so occasionally the sun is streaming in through the window, so I hope it doesn't affect the video quality for you. So I have 2 of these stuck together, and I've also cut out some snowbanks. Now altogether I have 4 snowbanks, and my largest width is 2.5 inches in height, and it's 9 3/8 long, and that's because that is the length of our circle accordion piece. So it's literally the same length. It's just a smidge, maybe 1/16 shorter, but yeah, I found that was basically the best size to go with, 9 3/8. And so I've cut out 4 of these. I have glued, what I did was I took 2 sheets of 300 GSM cardstock and I glued it together, again using my collal glue, and I left that for a while to dry. And then what I did was I cut it down into 2.5, into 2, into 1 3/4, and into 1 inch. And then what I did was I just rounded the edges on both sides, and then I cut a snowbank shape into them, and I did that with all of my 4 pieces. And then I took some of my Distress Oxide Lost Shadow and I ink blended on the edges of these. Now it looks kind of dirty in this light, but when it's assembled you need a little bit of shadow when you're doing snowbanks. That sun is really streaming in the window. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and close that curtain. Excuse me for a moment. There we go. That's a bit better now. It's been overcast and dull all day, and I come into the craft room and the sun started shining, and you can't really complain when the sun is shining too much. So Now we have our snowbanks done, and you'll see in these I have slots, and these slots correspond to slots that is in this piece here. So what I've done is I've taken one of my little pieces that I've die cut out, and I have cut slots using this into it, and I'm going to show you how I did that in a moment. But yeah, so we'll make our slots so that they'll fit in. Okay, so there are snowbanks. Now for our second one of these that we've made, I'm going to leave it up here for you. You will need a couple of things. So to make 2 of these standing, you will need to die cut yourself out 8 of this die shape. And with all of these that we'll cut out, what we'll do is we'll take 2 of them and glue them together. And that's going to give us a nice strong support, especially if you're using less than 300 GSM. Your cardstock might be 240, 260, 280. I really recommend you glue 2 together. So I die cut out 2, 4, 8 of these, and then I glued them together in 2s, and then I set them aside and allowed them to dry. Then I die cut out 4 of this shape. This is the largest one, and I stuck them together to give me 2 of these. Then I die cut out the second largest of these, and again I die cut out 4 of these and glue 2 together. And then I die cut out the smallest one of these. I took 4 of them and glued 2 and 2 together. So that'll give me this shape. So we'll have this, so the smallest one is going to the back. We'll leave a slot for one of our snowbanks. We'll have the largest one then. Then we leave 3 of the slots open except for the last one. And the last one will have the second largest one on it. And that will be the front. And to this then we will attach our sentiment. So that's those. I've used the Accordion die set, and I have die cut out some of my shapes. I'm using a gold holographic as well as a white. So I die cut out the matte and layer. I stamp my sentiment on this one, and it's a made to surprise stamp, and I have that, let me just see here. I've used this one here, wishing you lots of fun and laughter this Christmas. It's from the Sentiments A5 stamp set. Maybe it would be a good idea if you could see the whole thing. So that's the one I've used for my sentiment. I've also then used an embossing folder to emboss the front panel and the 2 side panels. So this one will go on the back, and this will give us a place to write our message, and then this one will go on the front, and it will take our main scene. So I have those done, and that's the bubbles embossing folder that I have used there, but you can use whatever you have in your stash. Okay, let's have a look. I have die cut out the Merry Christmas, and I've used 2 of the large word sentiments. I've used the big word stamp set. This has given me my Merry, which is here. And then I have used the latest one, and that's the mix and match sentiments. And this one has given me the Christmas. So I have die cut those out, ready to go. Then next I have my little silhouette of Santa and the reindeer, and this came from this one, the Treetops. I'm Irish, so I tend to say tree, but it's Treetops. And there is a stamp for this as well, but I just used the die and die cut it out in black. So it's a silhouette, and it'll be like as if Santa is up high in the sky and he's flying past. Now We could have taken this panel and we could have done some ink blending around it if we wanted, but I'm keeping it clean and crisp. I like that look. But if you're not using an embossing folder, for this panel you could actually use a background image of a sky scene, a snow scene, etc., and pop that up there. So onto this panel I'm adding some little snowmen, and these are the Spellbinders singing snowman, and they're still available to buy. I think they came out last year, but they're still available to buy, and I have my little fellas all done up and ready. So they'll sit down here like so, and they're singing as Santa is passing them over on the way to the children. I've also taken some Christmas trees. These were from the Ephemera set that came out, I think it was last year, a show-stopping Christmas ephemera. Now I knew these were going to be a one-off, and because I'm not selling my card, I'm not too sure what the angel policy is, but I took the images of the ephemera and I scanned them and save them on my computer, and that way then I was able to print out the scanned images, and that gave me loads of images to use. So whether you have a Christmas tree stamp or die in your stash, they're the ones that I'm using for this particular card. With the snowmen also comes this fa la 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 sentiment. So I die cut it out and then I backed it on my holographic card. I hope you can see that okay. And then what I did was I just freestyled it. I took my fussy cutting scissors and I cut it so it had a banner background to match with it. So it doesn't come with the shadow, but you can easily do it yourself. I just stuck it down and then cut around it. And then finally I have two long strips. Now these strips, let me see, I think I have the measurements somewhere. I'll get my ruler, because if you could see around the desk now you'd see it is not a tidy or organized desk. So this piece measures 9 1/8 and it's a ½ inch in width. And I've cut out two of those for the top and bottom of this panel. Now there are dies that will come that fit in between the score lines if you were to use this panel as originally, you know, its intention was. But because I'm rednecking it and I'm doing something totally different, this piece or strip is going to sit across the top like that. I've one for the bottom. It will be mostly covered up, but I just don't want, if the recipient kind of looks down into it, I want them to see that there was a border strip down there as well. And then with the two of them on there, my fa la 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 piece will sit on top like so. And I have a bit of foam behind that. It's skinny foam, but that'll sit over the top there like so. So now that's all our pieces that we need to make this fun card. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you how I took my snowbanks and put the slots in them so that it will sit into this piece, because we want these snowbanks to slot in here the way these panels here slot in. Because these have a slot here, I wanted to mimic that. So these will sit in here, and this one will sit down there, and then they'll sit in there nicely, like so. And then we'll have our snowbanks running behind, and then we'll have one on the back to cover up. So how I did that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear off the table a little bit, and I'm going to show you how I put my little notches into my snowbank. So let me do that first. So to do this piece, what I did was I took one of my props or stands, I don't know what they're actually called, but I took one of these and I have popped it down onto my snowbank, and I've brought the bottom left hand corner here right down to the bottom left hand corner of my snowbank. And then what I'll do is I will take a pencil, and it's a pretty sharp pencil, and I'm just going to fill in where the slot is here. So you'll be cutting more than just cutting a line into it with your scissors. I'm then going to move this down to the other side, I'm going to line up the bottom right corner with the bottom right corner of my snowbank, and then I'm going to sit that on top, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again on both of them. And if you get any pencil marks or anything on this piece, then you can just erase them using, or rub them out using an eraser. So then you have your 4 slots here, like so. And I've taken my scissors. Now I love using my Fiskars soft grip scissors. I have this a very long time. It has a locking mechanism. You just pull this little button down. It's on both sides, and it will lock or unlock the scissors. It has a spring in it, and mine is very old and dirty. The newer ones now, this grey part is in orange, the same as the button. It's got a lovely beveled edge to the scissors, and it's got a very precise tip for cutting as well. These are my go-to when I fussy cut. I have a scan and cut that I could use for cutting out shapes and things. I tend to go to my scissors, and it's because of these scissors. And because they're spring loaded, as you cut down, they want to spring up. And I have got an issue here with this ligament in my thumb, and I found these scissors actually take the pain out of cutting using my hand. So I would definitely recommend these. I recommended them to a friend recently, a crafty friend, Create with Katerina, and she got a pair and she messaged me and she said, game changer, Simone. I'm so glad that you recommended them to me. So yeah, I would recommend them. Anyway, I'm going to take my scissors, and what I'm going to do is, rather than cut straight down on the line, you need it to be a little bit bigger. So I cut down right next to the line I've made, and then I cut on the other side of the line. I'll cut again, and that will give us a little slot. You can see it there. It needs to be big enough so that it can go down through the actual stand. Let me get the stand piece. Where is it? Here. So it needs to be able to slide in between. So this piece will go up here, and then that will slide down. So our snowbank will come all the way to the bottom there. I hope you can see. You can see the way our snowbank goes all the way to the bottom, and that's what you need. And that will support the whole base then when it's standing. That will support the whole thing. So we want to do that now to the other 3. So I'm going to cut them out. So again, I'll cut just this side of my pencil line, then I'll cut just that side of my pencil line. So I'm literally cutting out the pencil line that I've made. And then you'll have a little piece at the back, and you can just cut that out. So I'm going to do the other 2 now. And if you cut them and they don't just pop out like that, you can just bring your scissors over and cut the tip away, like so, to tidy it up if you want. That's fine. You won't really see that, so don't worry about it too much. But if you make it too big, it will be a little bit wobbly. But in order to fix that, Sam does recommend that when you're putting this piece together, you add a little glue. She adds a little glue to the side, and then that stops these from coming apart. What I like to do is add a drop of glue to the bottom of each slot and then pop it in, and that little bead of glue will hold everything together, and that's what I will do when I'm assembling the other piece. So now I have one done. I'm going to assemble the other one of these, and then we'll move on to the next piece. So I'm going to I'll do that and put a bit of music on in the background. So this piece is my smallest one, and I'm going to pop that to the front just here. So what I like to do is I take my quick grab glue. I'll add a bit of glue here just to the bottom of where this opening is, and all you need is a little bit, and then I'll pop this in here and slide it into place. And when that glue sets, it will set and lock it into place. So just a little piece, a little dab of glue just down there, and you could actually add glue to the whole thing and you'll find that the opening will hold the glue, but I just put it down at the bottom there. But like I said, Sam adds glue. What she does is put it in and she adds glue all along there. You can do it on the inside or on the outside, but I don't think it needs that, so I don't do that. But you can do whichever you find works for you. So on this piece, I'm going to add my glue just onto this one along here. And this sits not on the second one, but on the third one. So I'm going to pop that in there. And then the last one goes on the other end down here. So again, you can do it at the bottom here, or you can do it on the piece you're putting in. It really is up to yourself, whichever is easiest for you, but either way works. So there are my two pieces, and I'm just going to give them a little bit of time now to dry. Okay, so now that I have that done, I'm going to add in my snowbanks, and my deepest snowbank is going to sit just after the large one here. And again, you can add your glue to the base or to the top here. I'm just going to add it to the top here. And I'm going to do it to all four. And because this is a quick grab glue, it doesn't, it won't leave any residue, unlike some. So I'll pop this in here, and this one in here. And because we've put these notches in them now, we know exactly where they're going to sit. So the next one back, so we have our four. The smallest one, actually, yeah, so we put the largest and the next one down will go in there. And then I'll put the smallest one in here. So this one will sit in the back here. So you can arrange them whichever way you like. So I'm going from largest to the smallest. So the largest next one down is what I'm doing now. And again, I'm going to add some glue just into the centers there. And then I'm going to slot them into place. And they're all lining up beautifully there. And then I'm going to put the next size down. So we've gone from the largest, we're going down. So the largest, next size down is going to go then behind here. And it's going to go into this slot here. This piece here is for our large panel. So I'm going to leave this one until we've got this one in place. So that's for the back. And then the smallest one is going to sit on the front. So I'm going to add that one in. And again, I'm going to add a little bit of glue down the opening of the slot there. And then once this is all in place, this is all going to fold flat, and then you can make your envelope size. Now I've got an A4 envelope here, and I've got a brown one, but I have white ones of these, and I find this will now fit in an A4 envelope. So you can decorate it if you get it in white or brown, but you can pop it in there, and because it's an A4, it'll allow for a little bit of bulk. This will probably cost you more to ship, but this piece is going to go, so you can see there, that is going to fit nicely into our envelope there. So I'm really pleased with that. So don't be worried about, you can make an envelope if you have a We Are Memory Keepers envelope maker, or one of those, and that will work nicely. So I'm going to sit this up into standing. Now remember, we've got one more piece to go in here, but I'm going to leave that for a minute because I want to put the other panels on, and it should fold both ways. So once you fold it one way and then the other, it tends to sit up nice and straight. So I'm going to leave this over here, and while that's over there, it can be drying. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to leave that piece off to the side as well. So this is our center panel, and this is going to sit in here. Now this piece would sit into one of the slots. You could put it into one of the slots, but I don't want it to sit down so much. I want it to sit up. So I'm going to use the largest panels here in the back to sit this onto, and then that'll sit on there like so. So I will sit this on here. Now you can take the corners and maybe round them over if you don't want them. They are the same length, so it should sit in there nicely. But if you're worried about it not being the right size, you could always round this corner at the bottom there over. But I'm going to stick this on like so. I'll glue it in place. But before I do that, I'm going to decorate the front of it. Now if you're struggling to stick it onto the circular pieces there, you could actually stick it onto your snowbank there like so, and it'll give you more place to attach it. But I want it set back from the snowbank, so I have all those layers. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to leave that to dry, and I'm going to focus on this. So I have all my pieces to glue down onto this piece. Now I'm not decorating the back. You could put another 2, so you could make up 4 of these and add 2 to the front and 2 to the back, or you might decide not to stick one on the bottom. You might decide you want one on the front there and then the other one on the back. So when you look at it from the back, you'll see that decoration. It really is up to yourself. I had thought about putting it on there because you'll see it on this piece. So if you attach this one on here, and then you can see that on the bottom. But if you're not too bothered about it being back there, you could actually, if you stick that onto the front of that panel, you'll see it there. So it's up to yourself. I may actually go back and do another 2 and put them on the bottom there. And if I do, you'll see that in the images at the end, because I just thought of it there now. So you could use your quick glue. I'm actually going to use my Collal glue, just so that, again, it gives a bit of strength. Not that it actually needs it for these, but yeah, I'm just going to use my Collal glue for this.
Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Your branches green in summer's glow, and evergreen in winter snow. Oh, Christmas tree, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Your branches green in summer's glow, and evergreen in winter snow. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Your branches green in summer's glow, and evergreen in winter snow. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty.
So I'm loving how this is turning out, but in hindsight, I should have brought my snowmen down further. So if you add your snowmen in, make sure you bring them down a little bit further. They should have hidden behind my snowbank here. So what I'm very quickly going to do is I'm going to make up a little snowbank. It's going to stick behind this Christmas tree and this one, and it's just going to cover up the bottom of the snowman there. So I'm going to very quickly do that, and then I'll add that onto the front. So now I've cut myself a new snowbank. I'm going to add it behind my two Christmas trees here, and I'm going to just stick it on to the snowbank that's there, and that way then it will hide our snowmen behind it, so that when it's on display, our snowmen look like they're stood behind a snowbank there. And I think that will actually look much better. I like how that looks now compared to how it was. So I'm gonna glue that on. I'll just use a little bit of my collal glue. You can see, I think that looks better. So when that's stood up, you can't actually see the base of the snowman now. So it's much, much nicer. I think that looks far more appealing. So there we go. It will fold flat. The whole thing scoots over, and it will fit into our A4 envelope. I'll just pop that behind there. And like I said, if you get some white A4 envelopes rather than the brown one I have, but I think that goes well. You could embellish your envelope using some stamp sentiments, etc. Or you can make an envelope yourself. There's lots of ways you can make them using tutorials online, or your, the We Are Memory Keepers. I think they have a website you can go to make a card. But this card, when it folds flat, it measures 12 inches, and then the height of it measures 8 inches. So it's a 12 by 8 inch card when it's folded flat, and then when it's set up in its standing position. I just love all those mats and layers, and I think it's something cool to do with it's different. You're not going to see this in your local card shop. And then, like I said, you could decorate the back with adding another strip here, adding another mat and layer to either side if you wanted to. It really is up to yourself. I think I'm going to leave it as it is, because the back really is going to be set, on a mantelpiece or on a shelf. You won't see it. So now, there we go. There is our lovely card for today. I'm going to bring you back to me. So here we go. There is how it looks. And I just think that looks so cool. I love it. I love our little snowmen. This is the snowmen by Spellbinders, and they're singing away there. Santa's flying overhead. And yeah, I think we have our lovely Merry Christmas. And I'm delighted with it. So I hope you've enjoyed my video today. If you have, do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I'd love to have you join my channel. I share lots of videos, and yeah, that's it. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and bye for now. Bye bye.